Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys see development life cycle? That's what you see?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so picking up part 4. I think this is part 4. But what I was saying is going through, we were trying to assess how easy it was for an end user to complete a task, right? And this is kind of like our exploration of, I can't remember what question it was, but it basically was saying like, what are the tasks and the primary workflows that a user comes here for? So in looking for a service, Janella's instinct was to first click on specials, and that was not what we expected. So when we click on specials, that wasn't how you book a service. Then she thought, well, maybe it's extreme wellness, like maybe they have the wellness services. So we clicked there, and that was not how you book a service. Then we clicked on amenities, and that wasn't it. And we clicked on spa to try to book a membership, and it was more so like a highlight. And then they have services here, but you can't click on any of them um, to book a service. And then the answer was membership, but that posed some problems too initially because we would click on membership and we kept getting a pop-up, and then I would get stuck on the pop-up. It's not showing now because I've already passed that part, but membership options, I can't click on anything to sign up. It says select one, and I think here is where I would go. New membership sign up form where you would like select the plan and you choose the one you want and you continue and sign up. So it kind of took like 3 or 4 clicks to really figure out where to go to sign up for services. Did you have a third example?
Hmm.
Oh, wait, we have to examine. So what are the takeaways? What are the strengths? Oh my God, I'm about to throw up. I gotta get off
I
this.
know it's so spinny.
Oh, Jesus, I'm about to pass out. Okay. Oh, Lord. Woo. Okay. All right. So I had to just get somewhere else so that I could breathe. What are the strengths? What are the takeaways that you would like to implement on your client site? What did they do well?
Um, well, I like how they have the testimonials on there.
Where are the testimonials?
It was when you click on membership
Okay.
and then you scroll down and right there.
Where? Oh, these. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So you like implementing the testimonial, so we'll write that down as a takeaway for yours.
I like that you can click on which membership you wanted.
So easy to select membership once you get there. What else did they do well?
Um, I think that was it. I mean, the overall website is okay. I do think it's big at the same time. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
just like my computer screen is big. I don't know.
No, it's big. It's
It
big.
is big. Okay.
Yes. It's
Like I
very
said, everything
big
looks
and
extra
very
big.
dizzying.
Yeah, especially that one.
Jesus, that was hard. Okay. All right. And what was your other example? I don't see it on here. Planet Fitness. Okay. You said their strengths were very simple to navigate. The formatting was nice. The weakness was no reviews. You don't have any pain points. Their brand colors are purple and gold. You notice they have the same colors throughout. Ideas you would like to implement are add in reviews and testimonials. Okay, that question, okay, let's go over. All right, so Planet Fitness site, we come here. The goal was for us to book a service. So where would we go to book a service?
Join us.
Where? Where is it?
That yellow button.
Join the judgment-free zone, $10 a month. What if I don't want to do that? Is there any way I can find out about the services?
I don't know, because I never met nobody that went to a gym website and didn't want to join. I think that's strange to me. So y'all don't want to
So like if I'm yeah, so like if I'm trying to compare, so let's say I'm like, should I join Planet Fitness, or should I join Extreme, or should I join Lifetime?
Well,
Right? If
even
I
if oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I was gonna say, even if I'm just curious to know what the prices are like, or what services, what if I want to visit and I don't want to commit to joining.
Right,
Can you click
yeah.
on about then?
About is traditionally about like the year a company was started, what their mission statement is. Um, yeah, so I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to commit. I'm just trying to figure out what you offer. What do you offer? So I we can't do that. Like it only gives us one option, and that's to sign up, and I kind of don't like that.
Mhm.
It's like it's bullying me into it. I can't even
Mhm.
find out about the services or where the locations are, or where are some
Mhm.
clubs near you. Oh, here it is. It's down. Ah, so it is on the homepage. So what could we do like to mitigate that? So it was here, but I didn't know it was here. So what could they have done better?
Mm. Put a scroll down.
Huh?
I don't know because it's right there. Find out more about our clubs worldwide, and
Where do you see that?
the first thing you see when you open it up,
Where is that?
when
Where
you
does it
go,
say find more about our, I don't see that find more about us worldwide.
it's in the bar.
Oh, this? I don't want to do that. I don't want to join. Like, is there any other way? Like, so
Well, I
what else
think
could,
it's
what
because it
else?
says join us, but it says search, find out more about our clubs. So you type in your zip code and then put it in there, and then the list of the clubs pop up.
Mm. So when we scroll down here, and this is like what I was actually looking for and what most people are looking for, what could they have done better to make that more visible when I first come to the site from a UX designer's? So this is your job to figure this out. What solution would you offer?
Um,
Both of you guys can answer because this is like us working on a team. Like we are already hired. So we are working at this company together as a team. We're like brainstorming and coming up with
Um,
ideas.
well, I feel like that should have been at the top, that port.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, exactly. Is there any other way though that we could have done that? Some other ideas,
it is a
Angela?
pop up
Yep, that's an idea. That's a good one. What else could they have done? Could we present as a UX team?
they can change that join us button next to
Hmm.
the find out more. They can change it to say
Yes,
something else.
mm-hmm.
that would be awesome. I would love and appreciate if they did that. Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, why are you? Yeah, that's another thing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Find out more would be awesome. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like, so these are all because like so the point of these exercises, what we're seeing is as a UX designer, the first thing you do is you identify the task, and then you go into that task and see if you can accomplish the task. There are certain this let me tell you what's been awesome about today. I'm super excited about today. I didn't expect it to go as well as it went. Today went better than I thought it was going to go. Because I mean, I didn't expect it to be a bad day. I just didn't expect it to be this awesome. The reason today is so awesome is because you guys covered most of the pitfalls that beginning UX designers run into. Like these are the things that are career deaths. Like these are career murders. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that we ran into today is the stuff that you have to be very hyper vigilant about. And a lot of times it takes, usually like bumping your head and getting negative feedback or not getting a position before you run into this stuff. And I really felt excited that we ran into it in a real life scenario and working through this so that you guys can see, how to work through it and how to approach it in its real life examples. That's going to give you a lot of leverage when you actually start applying for the positions and you get hired somewhere. So, some things that I really want to talk about going back over these designs. is this. I mean, I feel like, give me 1 second. Okay, can you guys see me, hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so listen, this is something, as a UX designer, this is the UX designer beware list. Opinion heavy based design is death, period. Like, it's death to your career, it's death to the project, it's death to the client that you're serving. It's a bad thing. Opinion heavy design is like, when we're going through this and the feedback intuitively, it's like, it's ugly, like, it's horrible. I hate it. Like, the thing is, instinctively, there's nothing wrong with like having that viewpoint or having that opinion, but that can't be the argument that you present to change a design. Because when you start to get into territory that's subjective, then you're in this opinion world and it becomes a battle, and especially when you have a room full of designers, right? Because now it's like, well, I think that this choice, because realistically, when we come to a company and we come, like, let's just say you actually were hired by let's go to one that was really bad. This one was really bad. No, not this one. Where was the other one? I don't even know where it is. I got too many windows open, you guys.
Lifetime was bad.
Yeah, Lifetime was really bad. Let's go to Lifetime. Okay. So let's just say you guys got hired by Lifetime and Lifetime realizes that they really need a designer. And the feedback that you guys gave me was like, it's nice, I like it.
I don't like that though. I didn't say that.
Okay.
When she said that, I was thinking, I do not like that. That does not look like a gym.
Okay. So then you're like, I don't like it, I do like it. And then, we
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I'm like, oh, hold on now.
no, that's cool.
But that's
But
what it looks like. That's what they're
I
showing.
know, I know. But when it doesn't look like a gym, like going into the page, and if I've never been there before, I would just not think that's a gym.
and
That's what they
like,
call it, a country club.
yeah, and all of, so this is the thing. So one thing that, so when we go to life, let me finish talking through this and then we'll come back to Lifetime. Um, I'm so sick of getting lost. Okay, here it is. I think I need to, let me pull this into here so it's the same tab. Okay. All right. So when we come into Lifetime, can you guys see the UX designer beware document?
Yes.
So here's the thing. When you have a room full of designers and everything is opinion heavy, it's going to be hard to come to a resolution. The crazy thing about, or not the crazy thing, but the interesting thing about UX design is that it's a combination, it's creativity, but it's creativity within boundaries. And it's creativity within rules and certain rules that can't be broken. If you have a group of people, let's say it's you and there's 10 UX designers in a room that work for a company. And one designer is like, I like it, I think it's cute. And another designer is like, oh, I hate it, that's horrible. And then another designer is like, I'm indifferent. Those opinions, there's no resolve to that. So because it's subjective, right? You can't really make a definite decision, it's opinion based. UX design has to be functional based, rule based first. And then once you have a checklist of, we didn't break any of the rules in terms of accessibility, we didn't break any of the rules in terms of UX design, and we didn't break any of the rules in terms of, did I say everything? Accessibility, UX design, best practices. Once that's established, Then you can go into stuff being subjective and opinionated, but you can't start with opinion. So the way that you avoid design bias is you have to start off with it all goes back to those first questions that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, which is when we go back here and we go to these questions are your foundation. Like these questions, everything comes back to this. Who's the target user? Why are they here? What are they trying to do? What's going to make this a pleasant experience for them? It always starts off with what are they trying to do? So when we come back to, is this the document? Yeah, when we come back here and you have to avoid design bias. Design bias is when we go to lifetime, why am I here? Why is the user there? The user is there because they want to sign up for a service. That's the first thing. So without any bias, and we just go right back to the point, which is why are they there? When I go to lifetime, let me put it on this tab. If that's the reason I'm there, when I get here, just purely experience, is it very clear to me to how to do what I came here to do? Before we even get into design, like I came here to sign up for a gym membership without a bias, and this is a bias shows up when you're familiar with the product. So it's almost, that's why you have to do user test. Because if you've been to this gym before, if you've been to this website before, if you are familiar with this website, if you're familiar with the gym, if you live in it, you have a bias. And it's nothing you can do about it. You have a bias because you have knowledge. So you're making assumptions based on what you know. UX designers have to do user tests with people who have never experienced the product, with people who are not familiar with the workflow, people who've never been to the website. And you have to just sit back and you can't sway them. You have to sit back and say, here, sign up for a service. And that's the only thing you're allowed to say. Sign up for a gym membership. That's it. And when you sit back and they go through that workflow, when they're coming through hiccups, doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter what you like, doesn't matter what's intuitive to you. What matters is they couldn't do it because does that make sense? Like that is a UX designer's job. The UX designer's job is to do whatever is possible to know what the other person is experiencing and to solve that issue. So when we come here, we were trying to, first of all, initially something needs to say it's a gym. It's something. There needs to be some type of tagline or something that lets me know that this is a gym, because you know it because you're familiar with it. Janella doesn't know it because she's not. And somebody who comes from a different state who has never heard of Lifetime, who's looking for a gym, they wouldn't know. So it needs to say, even if it said like Lifetime Luxury Gym, and Luxury Gym was under her small, or either if this said Beachwood Luxury Gym and Country Club, something, I at least would know, right? And then when we try to sign up for a spa service, they got the CTA right? This part is okay. That was a good decision. But when you click on spa, the expectation is I want to be able to book a service. And can I do that? Book now. Okay. But listen, there's a rule about it's called above the fold. So a rule in design is whatever action you want the person to take, it needs to be prevalent above the fold. That is a rule. That's a rule. That's not something that's subjective. That's not something that's opinionated. That's a design rule. And these rules are based on research, and these rules are based on statistics, right? So as a UX designer, it's your job to know the statistics. The statistics are that over 70% of people who visit websites don't scroll. If they don't see what they want immediately, they go to the next page. So as a UX designer, if you know it's extremely important for people to be able to book, and that's the reason they're there, that needs to be visual before they scroll. But that's your responsibility as a UX designer to know the rules. That's a rule. Going back to this document, CTAs, every call to action needs to do we call CTAs like let me show you. So when we go here and it says the club, classes, training, hours, blah, blah, blah. These are call to actions, meaning like when you click on it, you expect to see something. If we go to Planet Fitness, find a club, that's a call to action. About Planet Fitness is a call to action. Every call to action needs to do exactly what it says. I do not want to click on something that says join but when I click on it, I go to a page that's about the gym. That's not what I was trying to do. I'm not trying to click on a page that says book a service, and then when I actually get there, it's testimonials. The call to action has to do exactly what I expected or what the end user would expect it to do. So when we got lost in, where did we get lost? When we go to extreme compound, I don't know, the call to action is weak. I don't know what, home is good. Virtual tour, that's a clear. I hope when I click on it, I get a virtual tour. Not, okay, so that's cool. That did what I expected it to do. So they passed on that, right? When I click on specials, I feel like specials do what it's supposed to do. We could talk about a better way to approach it, but this is not specials. What is this really? What's a better title for what this is?
Events.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That should be events. Exactly. Membership. Membership does, see, here's that pop-up. That's a horrible experience because I get stuck here. The membership's okay, but the function, we can talk about the functionality. At least it's about what I want it to be about, but we'll dive deeper into how the page can be better. About, yes, that's what I expect. Group classes, if I click on group classes, is that, okay, that's what I expect. Extreme wellness, I kind of don't know I don't know what to expect. That needs to be something different. What happens when I click on extreme wellness? What is that? Let me see. So extreme wellness 6-week transformation challenge. So why is it called extreme wellness? What's a better title for that?
Challenges.
What should that be called? Yeah.
Challenges.
Should be called, exactly. Should be called challenges. Club XTC. I don't know what that is, but at least it is. It don't even say okay. What is that? What's a better
specials.
CTA? No, but this isn't specials. But what is
I
this?
know.
This is events.
I know. I'm saying it's what they got under specials down there. They just put it
Yeah.
over here again.
Amenities, they did the right thing for amenities. The definition of amenities is just like whatever features your building offers, like what's in your building. And that's cool. That's right. I mean, they're highlighting the careers, join our team. Good, right? So some room for improvement would be change this. This is not an appropriate CTA. CTAs matter. Like I said, it all comes down to the money. When you frustrate a user, when you frustrate somebody and they can't navigate and they're clicking on stuff and they're not getting to what they're expecting to get to, if I got to scroll down, you lost 70% of people because I had to scroll. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So if I come and I click here and okay, yeah, that's cool. That's beautiful that you got, this book needs to be above. You understand what I'm saying? So UX design is not just about what looks pretty and what my opinion is and what I like. UX design is about the money because everything matters. Like there's data that says if a person has to scroll, they're abandoning your site. So if over 70% of people don't scroll and your buy now button or your book button is below the fold, we call this below the fold. So this line right here, you see this line? We call that a fold. So anything that you can't see without scrolling is above the fold. Anything you have to scroll to see is below the fold. Call to actions, most prominent information, the most important thing that you want a person to do is supposed to be above the fold. 70% of people don't scroll. So as a UX designer to say all you got to do is scroll, that would be like, yeah, 70% of people don't scroll. That just costs us millions of dollars. Going back to here where we talk about there are certain rules. There are rules that are not subjective. Images over text is not allowed unless the images don't repeat and unless there's a filter so that we don't have contrast issues. So when we go back to here, you see how they have a filter? They have a filter over the image, so I don't have a problem reading this image. When we go here, not there. Oh, what was the website for your client? What was it, Janella?
I think FTP services,
Yeah,
LLC.
this is illegal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's ugly, but in a conversation, it's like, yeah, that breaks accessibility rules. So the way you talk, you're hired for a position and you're speaking the lingo as a UX designer, you can't say this is ugly. What you say
Right.
is you say, yeah, this doesn't pass accessibility. The text over images is an issue for people who are visually impaired as well as people who may suffer from color blindness. So this is a no-go. There's no debate on that. Now, if I say it's ugly, that's debatable. If I say this is breaking accessibility rules because the rule is you can't have text over image, repeating images, or images that are not filtered out in a way that doesn't compete with the text, that's not debatable. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, can you tell me how to say that again? Like instead of saying this is ugly.
So what I'm saying is it's a from a UX design perspective, right? The
Mhm.
rule is you never have text over images where images repeat or the images competes with the text. So there has
Mhm.
to be a filter over the image and the background image should not be repetitive because it poses a problem for people with accessibility issues who are visually impaired or who may be colorblind. But this is the thing. I'm talking over this really fast, but this is part of what's coming up for your homework because you guys don't have the vocabulary to communicate what the rules are because you don't know the rules.
Mhm.
So this week we're going over the rules. And the reason that we're going over the rules is so that when we do an assessment next week, you'll sound like I sound when I say you can't do that. Instead of just saying it's ugly, we're going to start practicing telling me why it's a no.
Mhm.
And that's
It,
like part of what the
it doesn't pass the usability qualification.
right. Yeah. Here's another rule. If a user clicks more than one time to arrive at a destination, either the CTA needs to be changed or the workflow needs to be readjusted. Users try one time, maybe two, to get somewhere. If they're not there within 2 clicks, you just flush millions of dollars down the drain. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's proven, right? So when we come back here, you know, trying to figure out what services you offer, you need a call to action that says services. And it should tell me about the services. And I should only click one time and I should get the services, right? If I'm trying to figure out what events you have, listen, this I don't even know I don't even can't remember where I was. Where was I? Special. Yeah, it shouldn't be specials. Because if I click on specials, that's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you to tell me that this week is 20% off for Mother's Day or something. Or you know what I mean? Like this week we're offering a free trial. So you already cost me a click. That's one click. That's not what I expected. That's a problem.
Right.
So when you're designing things and you're working and you're walking through it, you have to be conscious of, can this person, when they click this one time, are they going to end up where they expected? So that's reflective of your workflow and the names that you give the links or the call to action, the buttons. Everything has to be clear and concise. There's a rule about background colors and text. Background colors have to pass Google's accessibility test. If they don't pass, you can't use it. So no matter how pretty you think it is, right? That's what I'm saying. Like UX design, there's rules. You're creative within constraints. So let's go somewhere. Let me show you what I mean. Let's do an inspection. And you guys will learn how to do this. Hold on, I don't want to inspect that one. Let me inspect this one. Oh, this whole thing is an image. That's interesting. Let me inspect. We're gonna inspect. Let me see what happens if I inspect this. Inspect. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to, it's gonna be worth it whenever I get there. Hold on, let me see. Inspect, inspect, inspect. Trying to get something that's gonna give me feedback on something. Let me see if I get this one. Man, I can't get the information that I'm trying to show you. It should be like at least on here. Let me see. How could it not be for anything? Let me see if this one. Here it is. Okay. All right. Can you guys see here where it says contrast ratio 7.88 and it has 2 check marks? You guys see that? Can you
Yeah.
guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that means that the color purple that they chose to go on top of this color yellow, it passes the accessibility test. So it's not, if it didn't, let me show you. So if I change the color to that, you see how it doesn't pass? You see that red circle?
Mm-hmm.
It fails. So as a UX designer, there are rules. Every color that you choose, so when you choose a color text to go on top of a background, it has to pass Google's accessibility test. If it doesn't pass, you just put the company, Beyonce, she got sued for accessibility on her website and they won the lawsuit. Domino's Pizza got sued for accessibility on their website and they won the lawsuit.
How do you
Right?
for accessibility?
Because if I'm colorblind and I'm coming to buy tickets on your site and you didn't accommodate for me and you thought it was cute to put this color on top of this yellow and I missed the whole B Nation, I'm mad. Because I could not book it because you thought this color looked cute on top of here because you thought it was cute. But you didn't test it, right? Because if you had tested it, you would have saw that that was failing accessibility. That's a fail. So because it failed and I wasn't able to go through and book my ticket, I'm suing you for that because everything has to be accessible. So that's why I'm saying UX design is very important. Like your job is important. That's why you get paid so much because you literally are you're the front door of the company. You're protecting the company. You're literally making or breaking the company by the design choices that you make. So all of that stuff matters. You got to know the rules. Yeah, that's why she got sued and they won, right? That's the UX decision that costs money. There's rules. Color choices in terms of rules should also follow best design practices. So, like if you go to design school, take an art class, there's a color wheel and there's rules in terms of like just what looks nice generally, right? Fashion designers, people who are artists, people who are interior designers are very familiar with the color wheel and how you pair colors on the color wheel. The same rules apply to design. So you should be familiar with that. When we come back here, this is all types of laws being broken. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, no. So, part of the course is going over the color design spectrum, the wheel, what colors are aesthetically appeasing, what colors pass, what you can do, what you can't do. Another thing that's a rule is that design should follow grid. So this is kind of like an art thing. You have to know what the rules of grid are. And we'll go over it. But yeah, design should follow grid unless you work somewhere and they tell you that they give you the creative freedom to work outside the grid. But the grid exists for a reason. And you should, so let me see if I can pull up an example. If we come back to when you guys kept saying it's too big, I was just kind of laughing to myself, like, yeah, they intuitively have a good eye. Having an eye is also important though, because it just, yeah, it helps. So let me see. You have the eye, but we'll just make sure that you have the vocabulary to articulate what you're seeing. I'm trying to get one that's a good example so you guys can see. Oh, this one is perfect. Let me share this. Because when you guys start using, like when you go from sketch, so I only had you sketch initially, right? Because you don't need all that pressure. But after you sketch and you get a good sketch down and you start to move into software like Figma, then that's when you start utilizing grid. But let me show you. Uh-oh. Hold on. So here's one. Can you guys see? Can you guys see the grid?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. UX design exists within a 12-column grid system. And everything needs to be evenly distributed. So when you move into software like Figma, Adobe XD, spacing is important. So when you guys are interviewing for jobs, they're looking at whether or not you're aware of the grid. So if you decide that you want to have images on the home page, then if you got to make a decision, is each image 3 columns wide? Is each image 4 columns wide? Whatever decision you make, every image on that row has to equal 12. So if I decide to do like 8 and 4, that's fine because it equals 12. If I decide to do 8 and 5, that's 13, right? 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 13. You broke grid. So, but that's what maintains balance. And then a lot of times the space in between is what we call a gutter. So like if you choose to have a 16 pixel gutter space in between each image, that has to be consistent throughout your design. So it can't be like on row 1, you got 4 16 pixels of white space, 4, but then over here you only got 10 pixels of white space. That'll be like, oh yeah, they don't understand grid. So the neatness and the cleanliness of it as a UX designer, that's up to you to pull that off. And then like when we actually get into grid and we start the margins outside, if you got 70 pixels of white space on the left, you got to have 70 pixels of white space on the right. Right. So when we look at these designs, like when we come back here, is this one? They're pretty good on grid. This is all the same, right? So they did a good job on grid and all the spacing in between is the same. So that's a good thing. And a lot of times with the content management systems, the grid is set up for you automatically. So it don't really give you room to do it the wrong way. But as a UX designer, when you're presenting it, you have a lot of room to do it the wrong way because you're actually the person who's designing it. Where is that site that I keep trying to go? I don't know why I keep losing it. This site, their grid is good, but this, oh my God, hold on. Jeez. Ugh. I gotta get out of here. When I come back over here, another rule is the smallest font size that's allowed is 16 pixels. That's an accessibility thing. So when you're designing your layout and you start creating wireframes, nothing on your page should be smaller than 16 pixels, right? That's a rule. Long sentences and text should never use all caps. That is a rule. That's a rule. That's an accessibility issue and it's really hard to read. Moving images. This right here is a recipe for someone with epilepsy having a real issue. That's triggering, right? That should never be. So saying all that to say, coming back to here, when we went through all of the sites and the examples that you guys chose, as you're going through and you're making decisions, some of the basic, and these are just the basic rules. But when we move into deep diving into the rules, you guys need to be familiar with the basics. And when you're familiar with the basics and you're reviewing or you're giving your feedback on a design that already exists, or you're presenting a design, or you're suggesting a client or a business owner away from something that they want, you need to have the correct terminology to express why that's not a good design choice or why they should go in a different direction. And these are just some of the rules. These are kind of like big ones, but in terms of like color, grid, text size, accessibility, those are like the 4 you cannot afford to not know. You got to know those. Everything else is like, okay, cool. But when you're interviewing, you're definitely going to be questioned about accessibility, color choices, and whatever else I just said. You're definitely going to be grilled about that. And when we build your portfolio has to reflect that you're familiar with grid and you know how to design within the grid. It's going to have to show that you're familiar with color, the color spectrum, the color wheel, what colors contrast well together, accessibility. Because an experienced person who's interviewing you can look at your design in 2 seconds and know that either you understand it or you don't. Like when I look here, when I come to Planet Fitness, I'm like, oh, they may actually have a UX team in some way, even though these choices are horrible choices in terms of like me being able to navigate the site. That could have been some pushback from the business where the business was like, no, we just want people to sign up because we're trying to drive. Because sometimes business overstep their boundaries and they don't let you do your job and they force you into bad decisions. But looking at this in terms of design and layout, the design and layout is clean. The issue is navigating the site, right? But because I know that they pass accessibility with this. This right here is questionable because of the glow that's on it. That's questionable. I doubt if they're passing on that. This right here is questionable. But the contrast and everything else, I just know from experience that they're probably passing, right? When I come to this website, do you guys have any questions? I feel like I'm talking and I don't hear anything back.
No, I don't.
No question.
Okay. This fails. I can't get any feedback on that. No contrast. Yeah, but this I know this fails. You wouldn't do that. Now, if they added like a filter or something over the background, this passes, but this image does not. That's an accessibility issue, right? So that's something as a UX designer you would correct. The growing effect, they could probably exit because that may be triggering for people who have epilepsy or people who suffer from motion sickness. This color right here, before you hover it, where I think I'm clicking on the one. It fails. I knew it failed. Because look how it's blended into the background. There's not enough contrast. You see that? You guys see where they failed right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a bad choice to have that on top of that. And these are like, I wonder if this passes.
But who checks? Oh,
It's your job. That's your job. You're the UX designer, is your job. Because everything that you're hired to make sure the company does not get sued for accessibility, to make sure it's a pleasant, equitable user. When they say equitable, they mean equitable. They're not saying it like a pretty fluff, la la rainbow term. They literally legally mean, is it equitable for people with disabilities? Like that's your job as a UX designer. That's your job. Failed. That's the wrong color. You know why? Because somebody who has has visual impairment issues, they can't see that. For one, the letters are too thin and there's not enough contrast between the button color and view services. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen if they were bigger. This probably passed because it's such a dark contrast, but it's still not the best choice. So yeah. Now, having said all of that, looking back over, did you created a sketch for your layout, Janella? Can you take a picture of that sketch and email it to me so we can go over it?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go over it now. And then Angela, did you create a sketch of ideation?
no.
Okay, so you got to do that.
You talking about the wireframe?
Yeah, well, it's a sketch.
Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
sketch that you did. It's not
Okay.
a wireframe until we get into Figma.
Wait, it's a new one, not the one we did last week.
The one you did last week.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were talking about for homework.
For homework, yeah, then you do a
Oh,
sketch.
okay. Yes.
Yeah, can you take a picture? Or how did you do it? Did you do it hand sketch for paper or did you do it like digital?
I did a digital.
Oh, well, you can share your screen. Let's go over your sketch.
Okay.
I'll stop sharing so you can share.
It says it's disabled
Oh, I gotta
participation.
let you, let me let you share. Okay, try it again. Okay. I see you have a natural eye for grid and spacing. That's gonna serve you well.
Yeah, it's difficult on this thing. I've never used this, so
Hmm.
I'm trying.
Okay. So yeah, talk us through your flow, talk us through what happens. Step one, step two, when they click, where do they go? Where do they end up?
Okay.
Talk us through it.
So, he wanted something where people can log in and book. So, over here on the left-hand side, I have just some general, just basic for people who are still considering. And then over here on the right-hand side, it gets more like, all right, let's go. I'm ready.
Hmm.
So, and in this middle is the fun stuff. So the 3D design, the download our app and contact us if you need to. But about us, testimonials and reviews, compare our prices to others, which I
Hmm.
have seen that nobody else is doing because for the most part, they don't want you to know their prices.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that would set this website apart from the others.
Hmm.
What services do we offer? And
Hmm.
also the prices will be listed there. Book now
Hmm.
and request a quote. So if there's a service that you see here that is not, or excuse me, if there's a service that you don't see here that's not available by us, you can request information and then we can find a service contractor who can help you. That
Okay.
was one of the things that he said he wanted to be able to do. The
Nice.
3D design here is about the room that I was talking about where you can take a picture of your background. Excuse me, your land or your yard, and you can incorporate items that we offer. So whether it's, shrubs, you want to plant a tree, you want water services, if you want rocks laid out or mulch and things like that, you can add them to your yard, play around with the different colors and things, and see it in your own backyard, as well as get a price quote on what that would be looking like.
Hmm.
Because you'll be putting it in your yard, you'll also be able to put the measurements of your yard here. And ultimately, I I would like, even though this is not my site, I
Hmm.
would like for it to be something like, a virtual world for your home. So like Sims or something, those stimulation games where you could design them, but it'll be reality because it'll be your real home. And you can
Okay.
make changes and upgrades to your home.
Hmm.
He wants an app. So download the app here and contact us. Then I have a returning users login where everybody's information will be saved. So you don't have to put that in every time you come in, as well as to subscribe for deals, specials, and notifications to like a newsletter.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's a good start. And another thing about your wireframes is that when you wireframe, that's why you guys are calling it wireframe. When you wireframe, sketch, prototype, you sketch the entire flow. So not just the homepage, but you got to sketch what it looks like when they click on services. What
Oh,
does it look like once so as a UX designer, you are presenting the entire flow. Like it's all up to you.
okay.
Because it's the entire experience. It's the entire experience from when the end user lands on the site or the app, and you have to simulate what happens for each path. So as they go down the path to book a service, what's that path? What's that experience? When they go down the path or they begin the workflow, the user flow of booking a service, what path are they taking on?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to build out each one of these journeys from beginning to end. And all the nuances in between have to be sketched out.
Okay.
With everything that we just learned in mind too.
Um,
So being very mindful of your CTAs. Does this CTA do exactly what they expect it to do? Do they have
mhm,
to click more than one time to get the expected result? And
mhm,
then all of the things that you said you would like to um, incorporate those in your your sketch, your mock-ups.
mhm.
So yeah, this is awesome work. You guys are making really good progress. Angela, do you have any type of sketch or?
I have the one from last week, but not for my client.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock. See, I didn't forget this time. All right, y'all. So it's time for us to take our 15-minute. Then we're going to come back, wrap up, talk about what homework is, and then close it out. So I'll see you guys at 4:15.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.